We've just arrived to my favorite part of the Infinity Gauntlet saga. Thanos wins.
That's pretty much what happens here. This is peak Thanos.
Let's get into it right now. I've been waiting for this to happen.
Have you been waiting for Thanos to do Hamlet?
That's right. This whole time.
With the skull?
So
does that mean Thanos reads Shakespeare?
Oh, yeah.
That's
in his off time?
That's my main question I have. When you open this comic and you see Thanos doing the poor Yorick scene with the skull, it makes me wonder, did he, read books? Does he get books?
He just knows everything.
He's got the Mind Stone. He just knows everything. That's right. That's how that works.
And we start this issue with peak Thanos. He's won. He's God, and he has annihilated all of our heroes. All of our heroes except for one.
The one we've been following this entire time. Silver Surfer.
There's a reason for this, and we're actually going to take a look at what Thanos does after he accomplishes his task of ridding the universe of half the population. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. We're actually going through all of the Infinity Gauntlet comics that make up the entire saga, and right now we are on issue number
56 of the Silver Surfer.
We ended 55 with Silver Surfer
on a chain.
That's right. A slave to Thanos now.
Yep, and he's like, you got to write my memoirs, kid. You got to write my Bible. You got to write the tale of the Gauntlet and all of this crazy stuff that's been happening. And it just ended really bleakly. And it also picks up in that exact same position.
So he wants Silver Surfer to write the book of Thanos, the new Bible.
Right. The whole series so far has been building up to him wiping out half of humanity and half of all life in the universe and becoming Death's lover, I guess, has been his ultimate goal. And now we get to see what happens after he accomplishes that. He's snapped. He's gotten rid of everybody. All the Earth heroes are gone. So what does he do?
All right, let's go down the list because we actually find out.
We get a list. Silver Surfer lists it all out pretty cleanly for us.
He has to.
Yeah, he's got a job. He has to write it down in this book, and that's what he's doing. So we get to ride along with him.
All right, so the very first thing that we find out that Thanos does.
So first, Thanos takes out the Kree Empire almost instantly, is what they say. Immediately. A whole empire of space-faring aliens he just wipes out.
Then he goes on to fight the Skrulls. Now, because they shapeshift, they actually put up a little bit of a fight.
2 whole hours.
Yeah, a whopping 2 hours before they were annihilated.
That's crazy to think about. That would have been really cool to see.
That would be a movie in itself, to see all of these actions that Thanos goes out about doing.
What would you shapeshift into if Thanos was attacking you?
It's got to be whatever Thanos was using to attack you.
I'd shapeshift into
switch sides, because if you're fighting God, it's either you're going to sacrifice yourself or you try to join in and infiltrate.
I'd hide. I'd turn into like a little bug and scare you away.
But then he would just destroy your planet.
Yeah, I know.
He'd do something.
I'm a little baby.
All right. After fighting the Skrulls, then what does he do?
He goes and takes out the Imperial Guard of the Shi'ar Empire, and then just also decides to take out the entire Shi'ar Empire as well, adding one more empire of spacefaring aliens to his kill list.
This list is actually done in panels, and the color work here is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Lots of solid yellows and a little bit of red to kind of delineate who the bad guys are in the image. It all kind of has a stark color poppingness.
So much dread.
Yeah. It's just one page where he just wipes out all these civilizations.
Got to also mention Zenla. I mean, so if the Surfer is going to be forced to write everything that Thanos has done, all the cruel things that he's done, he's got to mention his home planet.
It gets one little panel. Everything's dead and burnt up and gone.
It's like it's in flames.
Yeah.
Doesn't even want to think about his loved one there. He doesn't even want to contemplate what would, if she's alive, just the amount of pain she must be in.
Yeah, that's a depressing thought.
Well, almost as depressing as what's going on Earth.
Is that the page with all the tombstones?
Yes. We know that our heroes are gone, but we've only seen a small amount, those that were available for this saga to be used. But we see a graveyard filled with tombstones, countless tombstones.
There's a few in the foreground that are pretty detailed. You got Iron Man and the Thing and Wolverine, and then the further back you go in the line,
Hulk back there.
Yeah, they start to get blurry. You can't read what's on the tombstones. You can just tell that it's everyone. Everyone's in there.
Earth is going through an ice age.
It got knocked off its orbit. It's too far from the sun. Too cold. Everything's frozen except for a tiny little sliver that Thanos is somehow mentally keeping warm enough to survive.
And what's he doing in these small little pockets of Earth that you can survive?
He changed the Statue of Liberty, which is potentially my favorite panel of the whole issue.
Oh, yeah, made it his face.
The statue of Thanos.
That's right.
This is amazing. That's some real clever thinking he did right there. But he's keeping everything survivable enough so that he can kill the people that are left and not just the weather. Which doesn't make, he just got to kill.
It's a death machine.
Yeah.
It's just a meat grinder.
That's what he was talking about in that last issue, like creating life so he can kill it later.
Yeah, he doesn't want to just wipe out everything because then death, I mean, how will she be pleased? There has to be some ongoing death to happen, and he's going to use Earth as its breeding ground.
Of course, because it's comics and everything bad always happens on planet Earth.
This is terrible.
Silver Surfer just kind of is at the end of his rope at this point. He puts the book down. He's like, I ain't going to write this anymore. This is dumb. You should have just killed me. I won't do it.
Well, he's looking at Thanos and he's realizing that this is what it's going to be like forever. Thanos is sitting here with Death, who, by the way, we have to make a note here. Death doesn't look like Death that we know her.
We've seen this entire time a hooded skeleton figure.
And then now we're seeing a very more, it's an attractive version of Death. And we're not talking about this clone of himself that he made.
He made a lady called Taraxia a few issues back who seems to have disappeared.
Right.
She killed Spider-Man. She looked exactly like Thanos, but with feminine features. Same purple skin tone. This Death lady that he's sitting on the throne with has like a lighter blue shade of skin color.
And she looks at Thanos longingly, like she cares for him. So seemingly, he's either controlling her or she has now
come over to his side.
Right.
Either way, it wasn't very clear in any of the issues we read exactly what happens.
But what we do see is a few panel spread of them together and then a reveal of what she must look like to everyone else.
I guess. Yeah, we see 2 panels of them kind of like getting close together, kissy faces almost, and then she turns into like a skull. The third panel is a skull face instead of her pretty blue face.
Yeah,
so
it's like she is Death.
It must be the same person.
But it doesn't make sense within continuity. But we have to proceed because Silver Surfer needs to end it. He can't handle this.
Silver Surfer decides to cut himself free from the leash that he's on. I guess he found a blade somewhere. Cuts himself free and then just jumps off a cliff that's right next to them.
He wants to end his life.
He's over it, and he doesn't want to keep doing this forever.
Thanos isn't going to let that happen. He can control everything.
Yeah.
And then brutally
he beats the hell out of Silver Surfer.
Mutilates Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer is cracking.
Yeah, which I didn't even know could happen.
Thanos goes on to explain that Silver Surfer being alive is a necessity. It's the yin to his yang. He needs to be alive so that he has a constant reminder of his mortal self.
Of who he used to be, of the struggles that he went through in the earlier part of this series. Like, it's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
You can't just kill him and let it be done with. He needs somebody from his past to hang out and write his autobiography, his biography, his memoirs.
A fate worse than death. Ooh.
Yeah. No kidding. And yet
Tragic.
He won't die.
Now, this is an interesting part of the story because they get into a fight.
Thanos says, this is an inconvenience. And, you shouldn't be killing yourself, so I'll give you back your powers so you can't die or hurt yourself like you just did. So here's your power back. Don't kill yourself anymore.
Yeah, because now you can't die. But keep in mind, I can play with you like a puppet. Like we have a sequence prior to all this taking place where Thanos demonstrates how he can make Silver Surfer do whatever he wants.
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't skip this. We almost just skipped right over this. But there was 4 panels of he shows him that he can change his appearance and he can make him do whatever he wants. So don't
make him dance if he wants.
Yeah, he turns him into like a ballet dancer. He turns him into a juggling clown.
Right. So to a bystander just looking at this comic, you'd go, oh, this is kind of silly.
Yeah.
Silly panels, whatever. This is some of the darkest moments in the entire run.
Sure.
And we had Wolverine having his bones turned to rubber.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is pretty dark.
He's pulling his strings. They use the phrase marionettes and puppet masters a lot in this issue, and this is the clearest demonstration. Like, I can make you do whatever I want, so listen to me.
Yeah, you thought being a slave to Galactus was bad. You don't even know what slavery is.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So Thanos is convinced that he has to give Silver Surfer his powers back.
Sure.
In order so that he stays an immortal, so he doesn't just kill himself.
Right.
Because he already tried to do it once, which kind of makes sense. They get into a quick little brawl, and then we have a boom, an explosion, and then we are brought back to reality. This was entirely a dream. This was a great moment. We laughed.
Yeah, neither one of us saw this coming. And you turn the page and you see that the camera, the image pulls out of Silver Surfer's eye, and you see that he's still back with Adam Warlock, waiting to charge and waiting to go out into the battle of the Infinity Gauntlet.
That moment where Warlock's like, Silver Surfer, I know you need to go. I know you want to go right now, but you need to wait. Be patient. I will tell you when. And then in the Gauntlet run, you know, you have a couple panels of a moment, just moments going by, and then Silver Surfer gets told, okay, now. Mm-hmm. These 2 issues took place in that moment. Silver Surfer thinking about, if I don't do this, this is what's going to happen. So although none of this actually took place, this is the closest thing we get to what a universe ruled by Thanos would be like, as well as Silver Surfer's worst case scenario, a nightmare.
All of the issues that we were having with the 55th issue of Silver Surfer, all of the discrepancies we painstakingly broke down over the entire course of that last video, all of that now makes perfect sense.
He didn't know that Doctor Strange wasn't down there.
Right, Galactus being there when he's not supposed to be there.
He doesn't know that Hulk shrank down and was sent back to Earth.
Yep.
So him being there in the last issue, he's assuming that they're there.
Taraxia, he wasn't there for any of that. Death. All this stuff with Death being into him now.
Right. He doesn't understand the dynamics of their relationship. So sure, she would be into him. I mean, why else would he be doing all this psychotic stuff?
Yeah.
It all makes sense.
And it makes you feel a little silly. I feel a little like, oh, well, it was all a dream. Okay. I guess I should have seen that coming.
We would have been those people writing Marvel.
Oh, man. I wonder how many letters they got.
Can you imagine? Like, for the first time, this doesn't happen often. There's so many parts of the story that I know. Right. I've read some of the Gauntlet stuff already. I mean, I haven't read everything, but I've read a lot of it. And there's stuff that I've, reinterpret, after reading it a few times, stuff you notice. But as far as reveals like this, last week when we dove into the prior issue, we went into it with like guns ready. Yeah. They screwed up. This isn't right. This isn't right. We need to make a whole show about all the things that are wrong about what we just saw, because we know the material so well now. And we just had that moment that, both Rons were trying to give everybody.
Yeah, they fooled all of us. They fooled us anyway.
They fooled us freaking decades after they wrote it.
Yep.
And we appreciate them for doing that.
That was a cool feeling. And now it's just going to come right back into the normal main Infinity Gauntlet event, and all of that will make sense. So everything, the last 2 issues, it's all in Silver Surfer's head inside the space of like 2 seconds of a daydream.
Freaking comic books, man.
Gotta love it.
Hit that like. Hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel. We do appreciate your time today, comic book community. We're going through all of the issues, and we're having a lot of fun doing it.
We'll be back with Silver Surfer 57 next week.
Until next time.
Keep responsibly.
Enough said. Thanks so much for watching the video. Link in the bio to sign up for the Mystery Mail Call, our comic book subscription service where we send you a box of comics every month. We're sending out a Hulk 181, first appearance of Wolverine, Logan, the Canadian superhero, going out in February, and you only got until the 15th. So hit the link in the bio and sign up.